Welcome back. Welcome to another episode of Nain Shorts, where I honestly don't even know what we do at this point, but we continue on doing it because we have fun doing so. And if you want to support us, please like and subscribe, share it with your friends, annoy the hell out of them, but otherwise just show off Eric because look, it's Eric. But thank you again for joining me on another episode. I know we keep dragging you into this, but it's fun to train with you. It really is.
Thank you.
And just so people understand, Eric is my classmate. He's not my student. He's Rico's student. And as far as I'm concerned, we're equal in the whole status of where we are and things. I've just been doing it longer, and he praises me more than he should. Not on camera though, because then it would be out there and people would know. But he is my fellow classmate, so we've been coming up together about 2 years now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of fun training so far.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to admit, this is a little different than what we usually do or other schools that we've been to.
Yeah, but I have to say, I know we're fellow students.
Yeah.
We have that mentality in our school.
Mm-hmm.
But I do look to you as a resource and someone who imparts a lot of information, is generous with it. So,
Aww.
you know.
This time I really did pay him to say that. Like, seriously. I'll give you the 20 later, don't worry about it. But we've been playing a lot with the idea of flow and how do we really get into the nitty gritty. And we learned, like, we did sombrata last time, right? So we go into sombrata, we do that, okay? And then we start, incorporating our own ideas. We start breaking it apart into whatever we need to. We go back to the drill, and we keep on going. Nice, disarm. Sorry, I brought my toys today.
Confined space.
I didn't know what we were gonna do, but that brings an idea to mind in reference to that, right? We have this limited space, so what can we really do to then simplify things and then still work on the idea? So we can even go back to our basic 2 strikes, 1 and 11. For other FMA systems, it's 1 and 2, right? So it's right hand. So for us, it's 1 o'clock, 11, right? And then can we then start utilizing all our other ideas on this basic concept? Now, feel free to go first, because
Sorry.
God damn it. That hurt. That was a good one though. But
That's not exactly what I was trying to do.
But it was effective. You did something, right? So now then we go back and forth. So my turn now. Shit. Okay, sorry folks,
You weren't quite getting that.
No, I wasn't. And I just take a moment to really just kind of go through that a little bit, because I was so focused on looking beyond what was happening in front of me with the stick, like, oh, I'm gonna do something really cool, that I forgot to acknowledge that there's a stick flying in my face, and it nearly hit me in the face. So thank you for the control, by the way. And unfortunately, no matter what level you're at, no matter how long you've been training, you have off days. There's always something going on that can just throw you completely off your game. But how do you overcome that? First of all, as an instructor, are we even conscious enough to say, hey, I think there's something going on with you, mind telling me about it? Or what else can I do to kind of get you out of that? Because sometimes students either don't have the energy, or been having a really bad day, and because we're so caught up in our own idea, like, I'm going to teach it this way, I'm going to tell them this, I'm going to tell them, all right, let's do 1 and 11, all right, let's do 1 and 11, all right, 1 and 11, all right, now break away from it, That's my idea, right? And it was sloppy, it was gross, but that's what I wanted to convey. Is it necessarily the best time to convey it? No. Was it the best way I could convey it? No, because obviously something didn't click in my head enough to say, okay, I get what I'm supposed to be doing, but I don't know how to go about doing it. And if I don't say anything, then we run the risk of getting hurt, first of all. But secondly, we also run the risk of just spiraling into these ideas of, oh, I'm not as good as I think I am. Oh, I need to work harder. And you become so frustrated with yourself that it just sort of ruins anything else that you can learn later on. As a student, I definitely believe that we have that responsibility for ourselves more than anything to say something. We don't necessarily have to say it in the middle of the class. It's like, oh, excuse me, I'm fucking up. Can you tell me why? But definitely, if you can, and it's a lot harder with bigger numbers, with large classes. I mean, it's very difficult. But even then, if we can incorporate a moment where we can say, hey, does anyone have any questions? First of all. And encourage people to ask questions. Because there's been so many times where I haven't said anything because I felt stupid even thinking the question in my head. So saying it out loud, all of a sudden I'm like, how dumb am I? Like everybody else seems to be everybody else seems to be moving along with the class, and here I am stuck still with 1 and 11 trying to figure out what's the timing again? Well, we're not even there anymore. We're not even at the timing part. We're just at exploration now. And that's what we've been doing the last few classes, is just exploring what we can do. And once that becomes clear in the mind of the student or even the instructor in being able to convey that, it actually calmed me down. I actually feel a lot calmer now than I did before. Because now if I go back to the concept of, okay, we're exploring this idea of going back to the very basics, but we're bringing everything we've been talking about before, all the nuances, all the lessons, all the changes, and applying it to a very simple matrix, a very simple structure, which is just 1 and 11, or your 1 and your 2, which is just essentially a V that's in front of you. But because it got simplified, and we're so used to all the complicated things and some barada and moving along, maybe that's what kind of got into my head. Like, oh, we're doing all these different moves and intricate things and going fast and going hard and going strong and softening up and changing the tempo. Then we go back to the most basic thing and we can't make the connection. So how do we make that connection? How do we then gap the complicated, let's call it, which it really isn't that complicated, but let's say the advanced stuff, with the most simple thing? So let's play that a little bit. 1 and 11. So 1 and 11. Now, what is one of the advanced ideas that we've been talking about, would you say? What pops into your head?
Hooking.
Hooking. Okay, good. Ooh, I wasn't quite hooking, so I compensated with my empty hand. Okay, so now, how do we get better at it? Okay, so what's the timing for me? Okay, there's crack, crack, crack. Oh, there it is. Okay, good. Now on the other side. Crack, crack. This time I didn't even wait for it to come back out. I just reached for it. And that helped me. Because now it's like, okay, well, it's not your timing that I need to worry about. It's what I'm trying. Okay, cool. So now your turn. Where's your hooking? There it is. Look at that. Nice. And that was different from mine. I hooked you when you were going in. You hooked me when I was coming out. See? So that changes to the individual depending on what's happening. And then something popped up as I was doing that. So now we go again, right? Here. And I go here. Oh, now why did I hook this way? Because I wanted to cover that hand too. So now I'm free to just go in and I'm covering this, I'm pushing this in. Now I got the rest of it and I can, okay, now I'm incorporating advanced ideas. Now I'm covering everything with you. But if I had stayed in that, oh, I can't get this, and not say anything about it, would I have been able to then accomplish this? So now that you've seen where I was at fault or where I was maybe lacking in my mentality, how do you then benefit being a fellow student from that?
Lets me know I'm not alone. Lets me know that when I have those moments, it's all right. I can break out of it, or I can speak up, or if nothing else, yeah. I've witnessed somebody else experience it.
And I think that's something that we don't really like convey enough to our students, or if we do, maybe our students are dumb and need a reminder every once in a while, because we do need to speak up. Because if we are having trouble in our lessons and we want to get better and we're getting frustrated, then but we don't show our instructors, then can our instructors really help us? Because isn't that what instructors are for? They're supposed to guide us over our difficulties. I mean, you see it all the time. People post stuff about what it means to be an instructor, a sensei, a sifu, a grandmaster, all these titles that ultimately mean we're guiding somebody through something that they may not fully understand, regardless of the age. Because I don't care. I'm 38 and I have moments where I'm just like, F everything, I'm out, I'm going to throw this stick. I don't, because, you learn discipline to actually do it, but sometimes you just want to and just toss everything. And we're human.
There's the teacher's role, which you're talking about is really important, having that atmosphere where everyone knows that you're approachable and
setting that up,
But what is the student's responsibility? Because I'm definitely guilty of this, where I don't want to be a bother. I don't want to be labeled as the one who's always asking questions or who's always doubting oneself.
Or falling behind.
What have you, yeah. So what is my role in participating in that class and how I'm perceived and...
Oh, yeah. Well, based on what we just witnessed, I mean, it can become so much more valuable for not just yourself, but everyone else involved.
Yes.
I mean, you often hear it, ask questions because somebody else may have the same question but just didn't ask it or didn't even consider it yet, and all of a sudden they're like, that makes so much sense. Because if we take this concept right here, this very basic 1 and 11, and we change the verbiage, because we can tell the students that have been doing, okay, do 1 and 11 and then break out of it. Now, it's very simple. For other FMA systems, do 1 and 2 and then break away from it. Do a continuous back and forth on 1 and 2 and then break away from it. Add whatever it is you want to add to destroy the drill, the back and forth, and do something significant. Right? Very, very basic. You can just say it with a few words. And as an instructor, you think, that's more than enough. But then it doesn't happen. So what do you have to do? Well, what's a different way of saying it? Listen to the clicks. Right? And now that I've said that, listen to the clicks. In between each click, you can do whatever you want. Right? Okay. Oh, cool. Okay. Now you do whatever you want in between the clicks. Jesus Christ, I didn't see that going. All right, again, 11. That was actually really cool. I'm going to steal that from you. I don't know if you noticed, folks, but because he knew when the click was happening, his fist was already moving. So by the time I moved my stick, his fist was right behind it. And despite us having played with each other for so long, because he discovered that particular timing, I really didn't see the fist until it was in my face. That was really cool. It really was. Because now I'm like, okay, where else can I apply that? And that's the beauty of figuring stuff out on the fly and having this discussion, because now I see something that you took advantage of, and I'm like, okay, can I do the same? Can I take advantage of that? Can I repeat that process? And how would I go about it? Because how you saw it and how I saw it are two different things. Like, first of all, how did you see that? What made you...
You're actually asking me?
Yeah,
I don't know. The stick was coming and I knew it had a path.
Right. Oh, okay.
I heard click, as you mentioned.
Yeah. And your hand was already there.
Yeah, and at this point I'm not doing things super complicated, so I have to keep it simpler, and that seemed pretty direct.
Nice. But imagine all the things that were incorporated. I mean, you could break down the idea of, here, take care of this stick. Right? But you did that so linear right in front. You took care of that, and that was super clean. I want to see the playback on that. That looked really cool. Because the moment I heard the click, I saw my stick, and then I saw your fist. That's visually to me, that's what it was. So how cool is that then to discover And that had a lot of things behind it. It was your own personal timing, your own personal range, because it wasn't like you were fully extended. You still had a good bend in your elbow, so you could extend even further if you wanted to. So that's my face just going back. You moved your stick out of the way, so your timing was just perfect for what you wanted to do. Not necessarily for the technique, but for what you wanted to do, which was just punch me in the face.
And we got that from playing with the 1 and 11.
Exactly, because now we changed the format, or at least the instructions, that sort of flipped your mind a little bit. It wasn't no longer completing 1 and 11. It was just, okay, what can I do in between the ticks? And again, had I not had a brain fart, that wouldn't have popped up. Had one of the students not said something, that may not have developed into a different way, and then exploring the same ideas and becoming clear for everyone else. Because now the idea of this clicks in my head, I'm like, okay, cool. Because now let's go back to something a bit more complicated. Let's go back to sombrata. Same idea.
Let's get a little more speed.
Okay. Let's act in between the clicks, right? 1 click, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So at any point between these clicks, we can... Ooh, I supplemented 1 click with this one, and I went into that. Because I knew it was going to happen, so I was like, okay, I'll use this instead. So now I'm inserting different things to every click. So now your turn. Ooh. And the expectation in your mind is, okay, I know a click is coming, but you change it. So now you're behind. Now again. I just wanted to see if that worked. But you covered, you did everything you needed to, but this kind of just got lost in translation somewhere, and you're like, wait, okay, that was weird, right? But I'm playing off the same idea that you taught me through this. It's like, okay, how quickly do I get into that? And what can I do with it? So now, your turn now. Oh, that was nice. Well, but you're getting there, right? And that's the point. That now you're just going to work on what it is you need to do, right? And now I'm working on each of the tips. Now I'm doing all 6 instead of just the 1. And you can do the same at any point. There you go, see? And you keep moving. There's another hook. Boutique, right? Because then here, back up. Now here. Because again, you're taking care of it. I'm going to go, oh, okay. So now I understand. Ah, so now off the 1, right? See? That was your thing, right? But now I'm using all the other ideas. I'm breaking your structure. I'm making sure that if any of those come out because my stick is here, I can just drop. I can drop and then go back up. So there, a simplified version of breaking away from the drill, but from a mistake. An error in my own mind in the way that I was understanding the actual procedure. And then we simplified it. And in the simplification, now we can adapt it to everything else and hopefully learn more stuff. Because ultimately, our hiccups are going to give us opportunities to expand. But if we don't voice them, if we don't notice them, then we're just going to get stuck wherever we find ourselves and not be able to explore. So there's nothing wrong with having an off day. There's nothing wrong with not understanding what's in front of you. But there seems to be a lot wrong with not saying anything about it. So, to each of the students, as instructors, we try to notice those things as much as possible, but we don't always see them. So definitely voice your concerns. If you don't understand something, say something. And it will lead to better learning. At least that's my opinion. I don't know about you, but that seems to be the case. Thank you very much for joining me on another one of Nain's Shorts. We had a blast. Eric, thank you again for helping me out. Till the next one. 3, 2, 1, cut! I can't count!